Welcome to Josh Anderson Art channel, not .com, it's not .com, channel, where I am in the middle of a series of drawing cartoon characters from my childhood. They're nostalgic to me. Today's character is Pacman from the animated series in the early 80s. Talk about an easy character. This one I'll probably be done with just in a few minutes because he is just a simple character, about as simple as they come. So far, the simplest characters I've drawn were the Smurfs, but I think Pacman takes the cake as far as being an easy character to draw. And every day I'm taking a frame from the cartoon if I can find it on YouTube. Oftentimes it's very hard to find high enough resolution to even be able to see the lines, which is important when you're trying to draw. 480 is minimum 480p. This one says it's 480p, but it's a bit grainy even for that. But since he's so simple, I should be able to kind of fake the lines I can't see. Yogi Bear hat. Yeah, this cartoon is very nostalgic for me. Just even playing a little piece of it, the memory of the sounds, the video game sounds, the intro song, very, very nostalgic. And his voice too. I think the voice actor, he was a comedian and an actor and stuff, but I think this is one of the things he was known for, is his voice for Pac-Man. It's a very familiar voice. I would have thought he probably did some other characters, but the Wikipedia article doesn't mention any other voice characters he did. Also, of course, the actual game is very nostalgic too. When I was a kid in the 80s, at some point we got an Atari, an original Atari. And Pac-Man, I think, came with that original. It was kind of like the Mario of Nintendo. Pac-Man was for Atari. That or Space Invaders, I can't remember, but we had both. I remember my dad actually playing a little bit. That was it for him in video games. After that, he couldn't stand video games. And every time he saw me and my brother play video games, he thought we were just wasting our time. Actually, I think he's right. I mean, they're fun now and then, but overall, like, video games are kind of a waste of time. They're fun. They can be fun. But you're not really contributing to anything, you know? Of course, if you are a younger person watching this, you have no idea how simple video games used to be. Pac-Man, probably one of the earliest and simplest games ever. All you did was you have a joystick and you would run him through a maze to eat these little pellets, and then ghosts chase you all around the maze. That's it. That's the whole game. And you're running from the ghosts, and there are some power pellets that you can bite that make you so you can go and eat the ghosts. So if they're chasing you, you can try to race yourself to a power pellet. But that's it. It's nothing like today's games. All right. Well, that's it. I mean, he is sketched out. Pac-Man. So let's ink him.
Oh, I must have those power pellets. Go find me the power pellet bonus. Oh, I must have those power pellets. Go find me the power pellet bonus.
Sorry, the theme song is very short and simple as well. A lot of times when I'm running out of things to say, I'll just play the theme song for whatever cartoon I'm drawing and kind of let that be the background music, but that one's very short. And if you haven't watched before, what I do is I just sketch these out with pencil, then I ink them, then I scan the inked version real quick before I lay in some color. I put in color with color pencil, snap a shot for my Instagram feed, and that's it. And this is just, it's really just a practice to keep me, drawing every day. Which, if you know me, you probably wonder, really? You need something to keep you drawing every day? It's my friends and family know that I draw all the time on everything, everywhere. And it's also a practice to, because I'm not usually good at drawing other people's art and cartoons and things like that. I really would rather be drawing my own things, original stuff, and inventing things. But what this does is helps me sort of build my tools, I guess you'd say, as far as drawing. Like, really, the best way to get good at drawing is to draw realistic stuff, draw real people, landscapes, and everything. But you can also learn a lot by drawing other people's cartoons, because cartoons are essentially caricatures of everything. Like, even if it's not like a real celebrity caricature or whatever, it's still like, even if it's a tree or something, it's sort of a caricature of a tree. And if you're an artist and you've ever tried to do that yourself without looking at somebody else's, a lot of times it's sort of like you run up on a problem and you wonder, how do I draw this as a cartoon or whatever? So you can go and see how other people have handled that and try it yourself.
Oh, I must have those power pellets. Go find me the power pellet bonus.
Kind of crazy. I'm using a pretty cheap felt tip pen. It's a Papermate Flare. I mentioned this in a lot of my other videos. I kind of accidentally bought these pens thinking I was getting something else. Actually, I was only going to order one or two, and I ended up with a box. And I was kind of like, whoops. And then last October, when I was doing Inktober, I decided to try one for an ink drawing. I was very pleasantly surprised with like the kind of line quality I can get. Sorry, my phone is blowing up. It doesn't usually do this. You can really vacillate between thick and thin lines really well. Like they do get worn out after a few drawings, but I have like really expensive and nice pens at home that I struggle with to get these kind of lines more than with these cheap line liners or felt tip pens. See, I can just push and get a real thick line, which I think is just really makes the little line drawing pop. Just the thick and thin, the sculpted lines on the edges. All right, I told you he was simple. That's it for inking. Let it dry just a second, and then we're going to erase the pencil lines.
Oh, I must have those power pellets. Go find me the power pellet bonus. Oh, I must have those power pellets. Go find me the power pellet bonus.
Hang in there while I'll go scan here.
Oh, I must have those power pellets. Go find me the power pellet bonus.
It's kind of funny because as simple as he is, he's actually got more dimension to him than the video game version, which was just a circle with like a pie shape cut out. And it was probably because of those early video games, they were just figuring out how to make video games work. They had to be really simple. The dark yellow. Okay, turn off your speakers real quick. Mute. Okay. Yeah, this was a cartoon. I actually just realized this show was a Hanna-Barbera show. Never knew that. I guess you can kind of guess anything in the 70s and 80s. Almost everything was Hanna-Barbera. But this show, I don't think it lasted very long. And it was another one of those that was like a real treat to see because it wasn't on TV very much. As opposed to like, you know, G.I. Joe and stuff like that. It was on all the time. Scooby-Doo. There were a few of these little shows that would pop up and we would catch them every now and then and just love it and then never be able to find it again. You younger people today don't even know because you can just jump online and find anything, almost anything, any TV show that's ever been made. You can find at least snippets of it on YouTube. In my day, when I was just a little boy, we would watch something on TV and we had to watch it when it was scheduled or when the network decided to show it. Dang it, his gloves are red. That's the first time I've ever screwed up a color because I'm yakking and not paying attention to what I'm doing. His gloves are orange. I just colored his right glove red. That drives me crazy. I must be getting flippant with these. A couple of days ago, I was drawing Danger Mouse, and I called it good. Just broke that pencil. And snapped a picture and everything for my Instagram, and then realized I totally forgot to color the DM on his logo and the yellow on his belt. Maybe I can fake it over here like it's a shadow. That drives me crazy. I don't know why that drives me crazy. I want him to be accurate. I'd love it if you tune in or you're watching this video later as it's posted after being live. Comment on your favorite cartoons. Like, what shows did you watch as a kid? What shows do you watch now? I mean, if you're my generation, you probably remember all these characters I've been drawing, but if you're younger, you probably have no clue who most of these are. Or you might. You know, a lot of the shows that me and my brother watched as a kid were from the 60s and 70s, so they predated us too. I mean, Yogi Bear and stuff like that, Huckleberry Hound, like I remember those as much as anything, just because they were reruns always run. Part of our Saturday morning cartoon lineup. We were definitely the lucky generation to have Saturday morning cartoons. Before that all fell apart and ended in sometime in the 2000s. Lately I've been catching some YouTube channels on retro stuff. There's a guy called Retro Crunch, and he has a lot of news about retro things. And I can't remember, like he had some news about Saturday morning cartoon. Like he was the one I found out that it ended. I didn't even know that it ended. But he was proposing, which I think is a good idea, to Netflix and things like that they should get together, Hulu or whoever, and have like a Saturday morning cartoon block somewhere. I guess the closest thing you can get to it is Boomerang on Cartoon Network, but I don't have all these apps or anything. Well, I do have Hulu, but I heard that maybe even Boomerang isn't doing so well anymore. I colored his glove red over there when it's actually supposed to be orange. Mute real quick. And this kind of shows you, you know, when you're doing hand-drawn stuff like this, like actual paper and pencil, once you lay down something, I mean, there's some things you can do if you really want to, but for the most part, you're kind of stuck with it. And it's kind of crazy. Like I've been a graphic designer for the last 15 years or so, and you get so used to Command Z, Control Z, whatever you work on. And there's been times when I screwed up something like this and I'm kind of searching for an undo button. And yeah, you don't get undo buttons in real life. These cheap Crayola pencils are driving me nuts. The leads in there crooked. So there's Pacman. I mean, he is a very simple character, just basically a big round guy, yellow round dude. For the cartoon, they threw a hat, boots, and gloves on him. I guess I'm gonna have to live with that mistake. That's supposed to be orange. You probably can't even tell on my crappy webcam, but and we're done. Thanks for tuning in, whoever did. See you later.